right, good evening. We are now going to call the regular Board of Education meeting to order for January. We start with the vision statement that every school will be a thriving school that prepares every student to graduate from high school, college, career, and community ready. We also have a moment of silence tonight, which I'm going to ask Vice President Pearson to read.
We'd like to ask for a moment of silence this evening for our district to recognize the passing of Camille Dreyfus, who was a senior at West High School. Camille is remembered as someone who personified resilience, respect, and care for others. She worked hard, but also took time to make others laugh. Camille was fiercely independent, bright, and outspoken. She knew who she was and what she believed in, and was never afraid to speak her mind. She represents everything good about West High School community. Camille's passing has taken a significant toll on so many students and staff in the West community, and we remember them tonight. Please join me in participating in a moment of silence in honor of Camille Dreyfus. Thank you.
Tonight, we're also going to start our meeting with a statement about our commitment to all students. The Madison Metropolitan School District Board of Education believes public education is a fundamental right and sacred trust. Our schools are places where every student belongs. This is not just a policy, but our core value and commitment to our community.
Today, we proudly reaffirm and recommit our previous Board of Education resolutions, including our resolution to support our immigrant, refugee, and undocumented students in 2017, and families in our resolution to support our LGBTQ+ students in 2021. These resolutions remain cornerstones of our commitment to creating truly inclusive schools where every student can thrive.
We affirm our dedication to providing a fair and equitable education to all students. And when we say all, we mean every single student.
This includes every race and ethnicity, every migration status, every language and cultural background, every gender identity and sexual orientation, every ability and learning style, every family structure and economic circumstance, every religious belief and cultural tradition, every student, period.
Our commitment. We create safe and welcoming spaces where students can be their authentic selves. We celebrate the diversity that enriches our schools and strengthens our community. We protect the rights and dignity of every student and family who enters our doors. We remove barriers that stand in the way of full participation in school life. We allocate resources to ensure every student can access every opportunity. We support the unique needs, dreams, and potential of each student. We stand united against discrimination, bias, and exclusion in any form.
To our students and families, you belong here. You matter here. You are valuable. You will be supported here.
To our community, join us in making this vision real. Every student's success strengthens our entire. This is not just a statement, it is our promise and our daily practice. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is MMSD.
Thank you, board colleagues. We will now move into the public input part of our agenda. First, I'm going to summarize the written statements submitted for this meeting. There were 19 written statements submitted for this meeting, 2 opposed to the Mackenzie Foundation Charter School proposal until the UW charter proposal is off the table, and 17 in support of more instructional space at Kennedy Elementary School and reassessing the elementary school attendance boundaries. All right, as we get ready to go into our public comment with those of you who are registered in person, we are going to start with 2 people who registered to speak that are not about the charter school, because there's only 2 of them, and there are 35 others who registered to speak about the charter school. So we will have the first person online who wants to speak about a different issue go, and then the person who is here, Tiana Clemens, will come forward and speak. Just as a reminder about our public comment, it is 3 minutes. And when you do come up to the podium, you have a clock that will show you up here when your 3 minutes starts. You also have a little black box on the podium. When you see a yellow light, it means you're down to about 30 seconds. And then the red light syncs up with the clock and means you're out of time. Because we have so many speakers tonight, I'm going to really need those of you who registered to speak to finish at 3 minutes, so that we can be attentive as a board, but also so that everybody who registered has full access to the 3 minutes. All right. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you. Our first online speaker is Ashley Parker.
Okay, good evening. My name is Ashley and I'm an OT at Kennedy Elementary. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today of our ongoing needs at our school. Like many schools, poverty is a growing concern, but at Kennedy, the issue is significant and acute. We have one of the highest rates of kids experiencing homelessness in the district, and many of our students have experienced traumas that are difficult to comprehend. I've heard heartbreaking statements like, "I have a secret, my friend was shot outside my apartment," or "My mom says it's not safe at our school." For our most vulnerable children, especially those with IEPs, student growth scores are abysmal. And while many challenges stem from these outside of school problems, there's one issue within our walls that's holding us back: space. Our space constraints in our building make it nearly impossible to meet the needs of our most vulnerable students. Our school is severely overcrowded with limited space for small group instruction, therapy, or areas for students to safely regulate. As a result, we are failing to legally meet the needs outlined in our students' IEPs. For our minimally speaking children, trauma often manifests physically. One example is a student who engages in intense behaviors like tipping over shelving, throwing chairs and tables, and eloping anywhere from 5 to 25 times a day. Our intensive support team has consulted twice, both times confirming this child needs a small, controlled environment outside of the regular education classroom, yet we have no physical space to accommodate this child or the handful of others like them. The lack of space affects not just them, but also their non-disabled peers. When projectiles are thrown, restraints happen, or fights break out, other children are harmed. School should be a safe place for every child, especially our particular population of children, and right now it is not safe. We have an incredibly talented staff and hallways are packed with them trying to find space to work. But for those with attention and safety concerns, it's not a viable solution. One room, which should be a dedicated resource room, has over 9 adult workspaces, a therapy dog, and the learning materials for grades K through 5. I conduct therapy in a basement room shared with orchestra. And for children with sensory sensitivities and attention challenges, it's not ideal. However, we have seen some positive strides. Additional staff like a PBIS coach and social worker have been invaluable, and our community school status has opened up new opportunities for our family. One of my students even broke out into song when showing me her new shoes she got from a clothing drive. Looking ahead, we have urgent needs. In the short term, we need trailer space for interventions and small group instruction. Midterm, please relocate 4K programs to the neighboring schools with available space. That would free up critical resources. Long term, we need to reassess attendance boundaries to accommodate new housing developments and ensure schools are properly sized. In conclusion, Kennedy students are resilient, but we need your support to help them succeed, and addressing our space challenges is crucial. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to working together to make a safer, more supportive environment.
Thank you. All right, for the one registered speaker who also wants to speak about Kennedy Elementary, Tiana Clemens, can you come forward?
Hi there. My name is Tiana Clemens. My eldest son is in first grade at Kennedy Elementary. I'm here tonight to ask for your help to address the serious space limitations our school is experiencing. Kennedy's an incredible school. We have wonderful teachers, supportive staff, and a community that truly cares. This year, we have new positions that have allowed us to make strides in managing class sizes. We're really grateful for the additional social worker and support staff that are ensuring mental health and well-being of our students. The transition to community school status has also been really helpful this year for Kennedy. But despite everyone's best efforts to make Kennedy function as smoothly as it can, we are facing an untenable situation. Kennedy currently has 579 students in a building with a capacity listed at 540. Every corner, every hallway, every allowable space has been converted into a classroom, and we've reached the limit of what these makeshift solutions can really do. I volunteer in my son's class weekly. I see when I'm in there that there is one-on-one instruction happening with special education and aides alongside the standard teaching that's going on with the teacher in the classroom. They're speaking at the same time. It can be loud. I also see hallways utilized for one-on-one instruction, assessments, or the big one, space for emotional regulation for students having a hard time. But kids are easily distracted in hallways, and that creates a chaotic atmosphere with people coming and going and kids who are having a hard time at the same time. The staff are really creative in the way they've blocked off spaces. They've created temporary barriers with bookshelves and furniture, but the bookshelves aren't blocking noise, and they can be physically unsafe spaces for kids, especially dysregulated kids. I have seen kids hitting and rocking the walls, which are bookshelves, which are actually having kids on the other side in the library at the same time, trying to do library work, sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce with bookshelves rocking next to them. I bring up these examples to illustrate that Kennedy has reached the end of its capacity to make do. We need your help to solve the space issue. The district needs to reassess the elementary attendance area boundaries. Kennedy is over capacity and neighboring schools are under capacity. We understand the adjustment of boundaries is really a complicated process, and we're just requesting that it's initiated as soon as possible, including consideration of an emergency boundary change for the coming school year. If that's not immediately feasible, we urge you to consider moving 4K classes to neighboring schools or bringing in trailers to alleviate the pressures on our classrooms. As a parent, I'm thankful for the small class sizes. My son's class has 16. I think that's really reasonable. I'm thankful for the investments in my son's school, but space limitations at Kennedy are more than just an inconvenience. It's a direct barrier to effective learning, and it's a safety risk for our children. Thank you for your consideration as we navigate this together.
Thank you. Before we go into this next part, regarding the public comment for the charter school, let me just say a couple of things. So tonight's public comment, you registering to speak, is considered part of the public hearing for the charter school proposal. So for those of you that aren't as familiar with the board's process, we aren't taking any action tonight. So when you come up and speak and use your 3 minutes, know that your comments are one of the things that we take into consideration. We will take your comments into consideration also with the proposal that was written and some other analysis of looking at the proposal. So I want to thank you all for registering to be here, but just know that in the public comment section, board members don't respond. So if you are coming forward with any questions, or if you're hoping for more dialogue and engagement, really in the public comment section, it's your time at the mic for your 3 minutes, and we will take note, but we don't interact during this period. Also, I will do my best to pronounce your name. If I make an error, please feel free to correct as you come up to the mic. And then we'll start with our first online speaker who registered about the charter school, and then we'll move to our in-person speakers. Thanks.
Thank you. Our online speaker is April Kagea.
Thank you. First, I want to apologize for not being on camera. I'm not feeling the best, so you don't want to see me. My name is April Kigea. I'm a graduate of MMSD, and I also have a student, a ninth grader at Madison West. And I am registering to speak in opposition of the charter school. I was at the 2 community sessions that were held at the Urban League Black Business Hub, the 2 community engagement sessions. And I was very disappointed that the speakers there, including the McKinseys, Michael Johnson, and some of the board members, they were not able to provide answers to direct questions that we asked, specifically around the curriculum, the structure of the school, and the benefit that they said that they would be able to provide to specifically African American students, which they said they were creating this school specifically for. I feel that resources would better be served by putting the money into the existing MMS school or MMSD district for students and family. I also was very disappointed in the lack of engagement with the Black and Brown community to just engage in this process. Towards the end, they had kind of said that they were hoping to engage and were looking to engage, and that's why they wanted to have these engagement sessions. However, when we were trying to give feedback and answering questions that they had, it at sometimes became very adversarial, which was very confusing because they asked for our feedback and we gave it to them, and then it became this, just it was very disappointing. So long story short, I feel like all this money that they're willing to put into the school would be better served either splitting between one city who's already doing what it seems like they want to do, minus the internship portion, and then also putting it back into MMSD schools. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our first speaker is John McKenzie, and then following John McKenzie will be Diana Walker.
Thank you. I'm a product of MMSD from kindergarten through high school, and thankful for the great education that I received. I'm also thankful for the great community that I grew up in and aware that I had advantages that other people don't. And so when I became successful, I decided I wanted to give back to the community and really focus on those that didn't have the advantages that I had. And I think the thing I'm most proud of is the McKenzie Regional Workforce Center, which is a $31 million project that we completed with the Boys and Girls Clubs and Madison Area Builders Association, which teaches skilled construction trades to young people and also teaches them about wealth building and entrepreneurship. And the thing that I think I'm most kind of surprised and excited about is that a lot of these kids that are chronically truant and not really performing in public schools are showing up at nights and weekends at the workforce center, putting in the effort to make their lives better. So why is that happening? Why are they showing up at the workforce center and not at school? And I'm convinced it's because we're showing them an avenue for success. We're showing them a specific job that they can have, they can do, and be successful. And we're also showing them how they can own their own business. And I think it inspires them. This charter school that we're proposing is going to build on what we learned at the Workforce Center. We're going to view every student as an individual with unique talents and challenges. And each student is going to find their own path, but with a lot of mentoring and a lot of help from people that look like them and understand them. I think that's going to be our difference, is this mentoring, this coaching. And I want to compliment MMSD for the great facilities that you built for workforce development, the beautiful auto tech labs and the other tech labs that you've done. And I think those are going to be a benefit to our students if you invite us in. But I think that's not enough. Providing facilities doesn't really encourage the kids to use them. They have to have intensive counseling and understand their opportunities and really engage them. And they need to be on workforce internships to understand what it takes to be successful. Every one of our students, every one is going to be on a workplace internship. And if you invite us in, we can make MMSD the envy of the state in workforce development. Now, finally, I want to say this charter application has been really difficult at times and emotional. And we realize change is difficult. People don't necessarily embrace change, but I think this is a time for new ideas and bravery. And I know we're going to be successful one way or the other. I hope you invite us in. If not, I understand, but I will say I'm not going to give up on our kids. Thank you.
All right. After Diana Walker, we'll go with James Sutton will be next.
Hi, my name is Diana Walker, and I have the honor of serving on the board for Forward Career and College Academy. When I asked to serve on the board, I really pondered like, okay, is this something I want to do? And then I had to do some reflection in my educational journey. Not being from Madison originally, I'm a Madisonian now, but not being here originally, I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and I'm a product of this model. I went to high school, and in parallel with my high school training, I also was a certified nursing assistant. So when I graduated from high school, I graduated as a licensed certified nursing assistant, was able to become gainfully employed right out of high school. But then it also set a foundation for me as I went on to become a medical assistant and then a licensed practical nurse, and then getting my bachelor's degree. So I believe in this model, and I think if we can look at it as an asset, in addition to giving the students the opportunity of choice, I feel that we all could benefit. It could benefit our community. It could benefit the youth. It can benefit our tax situation in our community, as now these folks will be, I was 18 paying taxes. Wow, look at there. So I believe that if you all will consider this as an opportunity, I feel like this will be very beneficial for those students who will be allowed to train in this training and to do a great work and to go on and move forward in their lives and have a foundation that they can build on. So it's not to say, no, don't go to college. It's to say, we're going to give you a foundation and you take that foundation and you build on it from there, along with mentorship and along with the internship. So I hope that as you consider this proposal, you will think of these things and you'll remember my smiling face as a model of this program. Thank you so much.
Right, James Sutton. And then following James will be Alex Robb, or Rab. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
Good afternoon. I just want to make two major points with this school. I'm in favor of it. I'm a business owner here in Madison, and we work in the trades field. We do a lot of post-construction with large corporations within Madison, and we're just lacking minorities within the trade field, for one. Second point I would like to make is I've also been a mentor and a coach in this community for 16 years. And it's very obvious that everyone is not meant to go to college. And we have to have another alternative for this new generation to see a brighter future than what they're seeing right now. It's just, we're in a different age and we have to think differently, and we have to be open-minded to that. And in order to do that, we have to be able to build something where they can see themselves having a brighter future. And right now, if you look at the school district that my kids go in right now, they offer one mechanic. I think it's like a mechanic class that they offer. There's nothing else besides woodworking. There's nothing else that's offered. So how are kids supposed to figure out what they want to do early, right? How are we supposed to get the mechanics or the electricians, or how are we supposed to pick these kids out and let them see that they have a brighter future? So I think this should have been built decades ago, if you ask me. And I just think you should consider it. So thank you.
All right, we'll hear from Alex Rabb, followed by Isaiah Braxton.
Good evening, members of Madison Metro School District School Board. My name is Alex Rabb, and there we go. My name is Alex Rabb, and I'm here tonight as a small business owner to voice my strong support for FCCA, which will transform education in Madison Area School District. As a small local insurance business owner, I support the FCCA because it creates a skilled local talent pipeline, enhances community engagement, and promotes economic growth and social responsibility. Equity and inclusion are at the core to FCCA, addressing achievement gaps and ensuring all students have access to internships, mentorships, and certifications. FCCA creates career pathways in high demand industries like healthcare and technology. Collaborations with local businesses ensure students graduate with marketable skills and real-world experiences. Community input has shaped FCCA, making it a community-driven solution that strengthens ties between schools and the broader community. By pairing academic excellence with practical skills, FCCA increases student engagement and graduation rates, benefiting the entire community. In conclusion, FCCA is a bold step forward for our district, and I urge you to support this initiative for its substantial, long-lasting benefits. Thank you.
All right, we have Isaiah Braxton up next, and then following Isaiah will be Kelly Griego. Sorry about that.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for coming. Obviously, this is very important. We just need an opportunity like this for our young kids, people of color in our community. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from, or, you know, if you're homeless, you should have an opportunity to be able to go to a trade school and make good money, and just be able to support your family, and just take care of yourself and make sure that you can kind of stay on the right path and not have to be like homeless, or, you know, end up in a bad place. It's just a good opportunity for the young kids. I mean, even as you get older, you know, it's hard to figure out what you want to do in life. And I just think that this is a really good opportunity for people that can, you know, the people that can go there and just grow. I don't really know what else to say. I think that's about it.
Right, we'll have Kelly Griego. If I mispronounce your name, please correct as you come on up. And then Natasha Sabeco, I think, following.
It's Kelly Griego, but thank you. I have a daughter in this school district. You know, I grew up as the youngest child. I was the first one to go to college. Everything that I knew growing up was doing it with your hands. And I think of this school as an opportunity to show people that that's a way, and to learn it early. Since I had a father and a brother that did so much outside with their hands, working in the trades, I knew that existed, but I know so many people that didn't. I went to college, I got a corporate job, but I long to come back and work and build and create. I'm here also as a representative of a small business company that needs talented people, to know that there's opportunities that you can have by working with your hands and by learning about it. And that learning opportunity isn't there. There weren't schools that had that opportunity when I was young. And then now, you know, the traditional high school path isn't for everybody. And that's where there are a lot of great a lot of the programs, electives that are there. But that system doesn't meet everybody's needs. And I think that there's a huge need for people that create, that want to be creative, that want to do things with their hands and build. This city, these universities, the hospitals, the schools, all of them are built by trades. The companies that we get contracts through, they're using the same people we are. And that has to keep growing. And the city's been growing for a long time, and it's going to keep growing. And it needs to have more people, more skill, more trades. And I fully support this school, and I hope you do, because it's going to keep bringing that next batch and that next batch. And that's what we really need in this city. Thank you.
Okay, do we have Natasha? Is it Sabeco, or it could be Sabero? I'm sorry, Sabero? Okay, and then following will be Rosa Roden with focused interruption.
Hello, my name is Natasha Sebro, and I'm here tonight to share my strong support for the Mackenzie Regional Workforce Center and to show young people the opportunities to pursue career pathways in the trades. With a school like this, kids can learn their desired trade while still earning the needed education to pass in school. Regular public schools do not provide such opportunities nor put an effort to show they care about the kids they teach. This can be a great start for the newer, younger generations coming up in this world to make a change and make a better future. This opportunity is more than just a program. It's a great chance for kids who may not see themselves achieving a four-year college degree to succeed. Like myself, I also didn't see that until the Mackenzie Regional Workforce Center gave me that opportunity, and it's shown me there's more to life than the minimum and that what you dream of can be accomplished. I have a career because of the Mackenzie Regional Workforce Center, and I was given a chance. And great things have come out of it and continue to come out. Thank you for your time.
All right, Rosa. I don't know if I got your last name. All right. And then following Rosa Roden, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, it will be, I think this is Jorge Corn Perez. I'm so sorry.
So good afternoon. My name is Rosa Roden. On behalf of Focus Interruptions CEO Anthony Cooper, who couldn't be here, he does send this message. Focus Interruption is here in the spirit of support and partnership of Forward Career and College Academy. We find it imperative for future generations of school children to see the trades as a viable option and alternative to making their dreams come true. We see Forward Career and College Academy as a complementary alternative for families and students who may not see pursuing a college education within their financial means. Focus Interruption strongly believes in promoting equity by collaborating with community partners that understand the day-to-day challenges that our underrepresented youth and families face. It is no secret that often minority students drop out of school in favor of holding a job to help their families meet financial obligations. These same students leave with very little life skills that will later afford them a well-placed career. Forward Career and College Academy is offering to provide underserved students the same exposure that advanced placement courses offer students wishing to pursue college. Their hands-on, career-focused approach aims to help students explore, prepare, and develop skills of interest from the get-go. By focusing on student engagement, a necessary ingredient for student success, they understand that it's going to increase school attendance, which will increase academic performance, which then leads to higher graduation rates. The trades need to become part of our education story so that our kids can be competitive in multiple fields and levels on a national stage. For decades, the trades have endured ill misconceptions that continue to prevail and prevent young people from considering them as a good career path. Today, less than 10% of the adult working population are in the trades. However, recent surveys show that there is a growing interest in trade careers among younger generations because they recognize that these are flexible, secure, and rewarding jobs. We are at a point where we can avoid the mistakes of yesterday by recognizing, promoting, and providing space for a new methodology where our youth and their families can obtain training, mentoring, and support to pursue those skilled traits, to fulfill dreams of graduating and taking on life after high school fully prepared. Thank you.
Okay, it's Jorge Cruz Perez. Sorry about that the first time. And then following will be Cameron Johnston.
Hello, my name is Jorge Cruz Perez, and today I'm here to talk about how the youth apprenticeship impacted my life. The ways the youth apprenticeship helped me so much in many ways. They helped me gain jobs in the trades at only 16 years old. The youth also helped me get ready for the trades by giving me the math skills needed for the trades, helping me use power tools and knowing what they are and how to use them safely. They also helped me by getting OSHA, first aid, ladder safety. These certificates helped me so much in getting my job in the trades and getting my own car at 16 years old without my parents' help. I gained so much experience over 3 months in working in the trades. When working in the trades, I got lots of comments about the youth apprenticeship. They would tell me how lucky I am to have such a program like that. I think the youth apprenticeship is a great way to help lots of people my age, and I really think the youth apprenticeship should be added to charter schools.
Cameron Johnston, and then following will be Alan Branch.
Good evening. Thank you everyone for your opportunity to speak with you today. I'm Cameron's mom, and I'm here to advocate for the Mackenzie Foundation Charter School as a mom with 4 boys, 19, 16, 14, and 10, all of whom have struggled in multiple different school districts with the public school setting, getting lost in systems with IEPs, and then also high student rates with the ratio of the teachers not being able to give my children really the attention they need. I have been in search for an alternative high school program, not only for my son Cameron, but for my other children who really need a school setting that aligns their career aspirations with what they're doing in school right now. My son Cameron was struggling in school because he couldn't see the correlation between his math class and where he wanted to be. And that's where Mackenzie Regional Workforce Center really provided a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't have normally gotten in the school setting. So he spent every day after school 3 hours continuing his education and gaining certifications and learning what he enjoys doing and what he doesn't enjoy doing, and gaining certifications to help him pursue his career. And so I'm going to introduce him before our time is out so we can talk about the impact that type of program has.
So I didn't really know where I was going in my life in high school, especially with COVID and everything. But luckily I was in a program, what's known as Habitat for Humanity, which allowed me to get interested in the trades, which at least gave me some type of career where I want to go forward. And in my school, I had nothing related to the trades whatsoever. The closest thing was a wood shop, but other than that, nothing. So the closest thing I found was outside my school district, the Mackenzie Workforce, whatever. Sorry about that. But with that program, it allowed me to get several certifications and allowed me to secure a job with Findorf. And now I have a job.
Making almost $30 an hour the week after he graduated high school.
Okay, Alan Branch, and then following is Fabius Tabor.
Good evening. My name is Alan Branch, and I think what I will focus on is opportunity. Opportunity that the Forward Career and College Academy brings to MMSD. I am the Vice President of Workforce Development at the McKenzie Regional Workforce Center. I see these young people and have seen them now for almost a year and a half. And the bottom line is we all want the best opportunity for our kids. Everybody in this auditorium wants that. But the bottom line is that the educational path isn't equal. Everybody doesn't learn the same. What happens in your home affects your education. There's no cookie cutter way. The trades is an opportunity for our kids. Hundreds of kids can find a place, a career path through the trades. And I think this initiative brings an opportunity to MMSD to really hone and focus in on that. Thousands and thousands of young people may have an opportunity in the trades if we make this kind of commitment to providing that opportunity to them. I stand here today in favor of this because of opportunity. Opportunity for Black and brown kids, opportunity for women in the trades. The average trade person right now is 55 years old. 34 years old is the age of the average apprentice. There are hundreds of kids in our school system that could find this a great place for their future. And I think this is a great opportunity to provide that to them. Thank you.
All right, Fabius. All right, and then following will be Jackie Moore.
Keep going. All right, so my name is Fabius Tabor. I'm born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin. I am an alum of Madison Follett, and I've been to a plethora of schools within the MMSD school district. I also work in the construction industry right now, and I'm starting off as an apprentice in a co-op at Findorf right now. I believe I have a very unique perspective on this topic with, you know, my grandparents being in the small business market for my entire life. My grandfather was worked in the construction industry for over 30 years. And over my lifespan, I've seen him have to hire, like we heard earlier, older folks in place of, you know, jobs that should be for younger people. So I also have worked in the school district for more than 4 years now, and I've been able to see the kids before and after COVID. I think that's a topic we should have been discussing a little bit more because these kids are frankly just different. They're not the same as they were before COVID for a multitude of reasons. I believe that the center is going to be an amazing opportunity for them because I already seen kids almost checking out of school already. And these kids are in 5th grade and they would actually benefit from the center directly. And they just don't see that school is for them or something that would work for them. I think that we need all the opportunities outside of school for these kids to flourish because quite frankly, there's just not many. We've had the same schooling system for how many years and we still see the same deficits amongst, you know, the people of color in our communities. I have friends that want to get in the trades, but they don't know where to start. I attribute that to the lack of promotion in our school district already at this point. I know multiple people that would more than likely be in trades right now, but instead they're working in physical labor for FedEx or Amazon, which are okay jobs, but provide little opportunity for them to work up and create a better life for themselves. I just believe that that energy could be spent better elsewhere. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you guys consider it.
Right, we have Jackie Morris coming up, and then following will be Jose Lopez.
Hello, my name is Jackie Morris, founding member of the Focus Against Corruption Coalition, and I work with Paul Soglin before he left. And I got another Focus Against Corruption here too, but that's another story. But y'all know the signs of times of the hourglass, right? So we are running out of time for our youth. And I want to thank Michael Johnson and John McKenzie and the Black Men Coalition, and who helping. I only seen about 2 organizations now helping our youth right now, and we need that. Every student here in Wisconsin is not out for college. Some of them can make it to college with the student loans. Some have poor families, but they can't get a trade. That trade gonna last for a lifetime. With the things going on now, we don't want that to happen. What happened last month at the Abundant and Life School? We don't want that. So we either gonna choose weapons or tools. I think I opt for tools for a trade, So I'm part of Michael Johnson's fires. I went to prison, got out, did 6 years. I went to Michael Johnson. He helped me get a job at UW Hospital. I'm successful then, I'm successful now, and I continue to be successful under his leadership and mentor. And right now, John McKenzie, I like him too. What they're proposing, I like the idea. Because right now, they're not asking for no money to merge with you all. I listened to every last one of y'all say y'all little thing up there before y'all start this meeting. I started to walk out because y'all said it all. Y'all said everything, striving to be the best they can be. Y'all commitment about the state of Wisconsin. So if you all want to help us, to help them with the trade, because our city, our community, and state can be better, like John McKenzie stated. And right now, like I said, I'm very compassionate about helping others. I do church work 2 times out of a month. We are losing our kids. If you all don't, go with this, they don't have no choice but to go to the streets and become criminals. I'm sure y'all heard about the $50 million that the police force wants to get in Pittsburgh, $50 million. Who they gonna do, lock up our kids? Because that's what they gonna do if they turn to the streets, because that's all they have. I wish you all would consider this trade. And like I said, I'm a protege of Michael Johnson, John McKenzie, and the Black Men Coalition, because them the only people. Every time somebody graduates from Workforce Center, you can see the smiles on their face with the trade that they have. We need carpentries. We need all that. We need everything we can get, everything. So like I said, no child left behind. Don't leave no child left behind. Because like I said again, I'm gonna keep on saying it. Everybody not up for college.
Right, Jose Lopez coming on up, and then following will be Odell Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jose Lopez, and I'm here to speak in support of the Ford College and Career Academy. I'm specifically going to speak about the mentoring and internship component that's going to be a part of Ford Career and College Academy. Been a student who has went through the public school system and has benefited from internships and mentorships that has made me a first-generation college student standing before you, right? I was a student who was doing horribly in school. I accidentally got involved with being a student rep on the Board of Education out of nowhere. I was a student rep. There was one from each high school. I got to meet the superintendent. My superintendent at the time was Paul Vallis. So I got to meet my superintendent back when I was 14 years old in high school and started serving as a student rep. And I was doing horrendous academically, right? I hated homework. I knew what I was doing, but I hated homework, right? I was one of those kids that felt the need of, why do I have to do this 15 times on a piece of paper if I prove to you I can do it for 30 minutes in a classroom? But now, when I became a teacher later on in life, I learned the importance of homework, right? We let that go in the past. But I am here because my superintendent, randomly, right? My mom made a phone call to the superintendent's office. Look, my son can't be on the board no more. He's failing. You know, I talked to his principal says the resources aren't there. I talked to his guidance counselor told me the resources. He got on the phone and found me a tutor that went out of their way every academic day after school to help me academically. And he did that to a few students within my school, then students in other high schools, because as a student rep, I got to go to other high schools and listen to their needs and help them expand on how they can help other students. And fortunately, I was able to get an internship in the superintendent's office that led me to wanting to go to college. The only one in my family to have their degrees, right? I have 13 nieces and nephews. I am grateful for mentorship and internships because they help me change the trajectory of my whole family's life. Statistically speaking, once a student goes to college, their whole family, or once a student goes into a career field that they feel valued in, their whole family can move forward. So I'm grateful that I was given the opportunities of internship and mentorship. And I do think that students, particularly first generation students who may not know that process, can benefit from that. Forward Career and College Academy is going to be designed to bring in mentors, not only at the career level, but also at the college level. Every student at our school will be paired with a college student from a local college that will meet with them once a week to talk about those things that they might not understand. Life is about advocating for yourself. And when you're a first generation student like myself, you don't know how to do that. And the importance of a school like Forward and Career and College Academy, who has these things lined out in their curriculum and in their model, is that we are very much going to empower our students to advocate for themselves today and in the future. Because if you're not speaking up for yourself, no one will. And you have to make your spot at the table. And a lot of students, particularly me, who grew up in a family where you just stood at the status quo and were quiet about things, you don't learn that. So that's why I'm here to support Forward and Career College Academy. And I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given, having just showed up. So thank you guys again, and I hope everybody has a good night.
All right, Odell Lewis, and then following will be Anthony Davenport.
Well, hello there. How you guys doing this evening? I come tonight in support of the schools. I am a product of a school like that. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I went to Chicago Vocational High School. As a young adult, you know, young kids don't have an idea of what they want to do in life or what path they want to take. So in my sophomore year, I was fortunate enough was to be involved in the program. I went to Chicago Vocational High School where they taught us trades in our curriculum, where I had carpentry, I had HVAC, I had electricians, I had plumbing, auto mechanics. I was fortunate enough through the program to go to a school, Washburn Trade School. And as John said, with Washburn Trade School, it was a program where kids could go to school in high school. During the summer, they could go to trade school and further their education in that trade. I was able to graduate from the school. Right now, I still use my carpentry. I'm a employee of the Madison Metro School District anyway, but I do think that the promotion of the trades are not being done, so kids don't know. They don't have an idea of what they would like to do in life, and no one's talking to them about that. So I do think that a school like this would be beneficial to kids to have an idea of what they would like to do or to know what's out there and that's available for them. So I do think this would be beneficial, not just for Black people, but for all people, for all kids. So I think you guys should really consider looking at this and giving this an opportunity. Thank you.
All right, Anthony, coming on up, and then following will be, I think this is Katie Bordana.
Hi, good evening. I want to hit on a couple of points in my support of Forward Career and College Academy. That one of the things that we're looking at and one of the pillars that they're running on is this whole thing of equity. And we need equity in our society today. We live in a current political state to where anything having to deal with any sort of equity is being abolished from the system, period. When equity wants to do nothing but take and level the playing field. And one of the ways that they're going to take and level this playing field is by granting exposure to underserved populations, to let them know that, you know, these other things that have historically and systemically pushed you out of a system in order to be able to make a good living, there's other ways to do it. Here's the exposures. Here's the in on how people who don't have a college education do it. When I came up through school back in my time in my matriculation, it was pretty much we were all prepped for college. That's all we were prepped for. And it pretty much, a lot of us got to college and figured out this is not what I want to do. But back then the trades were pushed as a thing, that something you did if you couldn't make it in college, if you couldn't, you know, go in lockstep with other students and things like that. But that's clearly not the case, because the funny thing is once I got out of college and had my debt, I had friends who had already started building their businesses and were, you know, moving into their second homes and things like that. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my student loans back. But I think that the equity part of it and the exposure part of it, of letting people know that this is a viable option and way to make an excellent living for yourself. This is a way to enrich your community so that you can look forward and train other people and hire other people and make small business work in the community. I think that everything that Forward Career College Academy is offering is going to foster these beliefs and foster further work and cohesion in the community to make this a great place. And I think that the board should consider it for that reason.
Following Katie, is that right?
Yes.
Will be Michael Johnson.
Good evening. I'm Katie Bordona, a teacher at La Follette High School. I've previously written about this charter and about Paul Vallis and John McKenzie's concerning backgrounds in the Cap Times, so I will not rehash that argument. Tonight, I would like to talk about the issues with Forward's vision. Forward's board has little insight into the core goals of their school. How is the public expected to support a charter school whose design includes no curriculum, or at least no curriculum they're willing to elaborate on, no idea of how to improve math and reading rates, no knowledge of the array of mental health, financial literacy, economics, business, trade, STEM, and community connections already provided in MMSD, no connections with high schools in the area, no clear way to transport students to school, nor even a clear picture of the length of the school day. Perhaps most egregious, not a single member of the panel had interviewed MMSD staff, families, or students about their aspirations for Madison Public Schools before creating an entirely new charter school proposal based on the alleged needs of our community. Though school choice is marketed as a way to give families control over their children's education, politicians from Ronald Reagan to Donald Trump have historically been the most vocal proponents of school choice. Forward is not a new idea, as my opponents are claiming, which, regardless of the purported aims of charter schools like Forward Academy, always results in economic and racial gratification and pilfers resources from the bastion of American democracy, the public school. In her book, Punished for Dreaming, Dr. Bettina Love argues that anti-Blackness remains the uninterrogated heart of reform. It is anti-Blackness that allows reformers to step in as saviors with federally and privately funded quick fixes that harm Black children in their anti-Blackness, while ultimately proving lucrative for the reformers. This is precisely the aim of Forward Academy. These are precisely the well-documented opinions of Paul Vallis and John McKenzie. Forward Charter School's mission statement effectively uses thinly veiled anti-Black rhetoric in a bid to forward the economic success of John McKenzie's foundation through class and educational segregation and half-baked promises to Madison families. Not to mention the idea that children of color can only thrive in trades positions has already been made and rightfully critiqued as abhorrently racist. It was the same argument Booker T. Washington made to appease a room full of former enslavers in 1895. Quote, "Cast down your bucket in agriculture, mechanics, in commerce, and domestic service, and in the professions. Our greatest danger is that in the great leap from slavery to freedom, we may overlook the fact that the masses of us are to live by the productions of our hands. No race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem. It is at the bottom of life we must begin, and not at the top." Why in 2025 are we still putting the same limits on what children of color should aspire to? Keep in mind who Forward Academy appeases, who this argument appeased in 1895. I'm not claiming that the trades are not a noble profession, as Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us that all labor has dignity. Yet we must be cognizant of which labor we promote and which labor we discourage for our most marginalized students. Thank you.
Anti-blackness. I want to ask all the people that's in the room that's supporting this school to just stand up for a second. From the Black business owners to Black students to Black civic leaders to Black nonprofit leaders to Black educators are in this room supporting this proposal tonight. Thank you all. It's clear. Good evening, school board members, superintendent, community members, and friends. I'm Michael Johnson, CEO and president of Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County, and I am a public school student and a public school supporter. I am also somebody who have raised more than $25 million for MMSD students during my tenure and my role with Boys and Girls Clubs. I am here to support Ford Career College Academy's proposal as it is an instrumentality charter application. This application is designed to partner with MMSD and to operate under your rules and regulations, including utilizing unionized teachers and staff. And I just want to make that clear because there's people in the community who have tried to say otherwise. Here are the facts. One, this school is proposed as an instrumentality public school. Two, this school would work with MMSD to create pathways, just like we do with our Avid Tops program to help Black and brown and poor white kids go to college. Three, this school would have local representation, which you've already met some of our board members who would be governed by a local board of trustees who are trusted leaders in this community. Four, the school would leverage public and private funding to bring resources to MMSD. We're not coming with our hand out. We're coming saying we want to leverage our relationships to bring resources to the schools. The school would not take away, this school would not take away existing resources as it is being designed and being planned with the district leveraging partnerships. And six, Boys and Girls Clubs have agreed to enter into an MOU with the FCCA Board of Trustees to help with after-school programming, career development, board governance, and community engagement, similar to the work that we do with Avid Tops. This proposal is simply responding to the needs. When I hear somebody say we have not taught the teachers, we walked in every single high school, talked to every single teacher who are career and technical educators, and got feedback from them and all of the principals before we designed this proposal. And then finally, we have broad support from parents, from businesses, from nonprofit leaders, civic leaders, and I will ask you to stand and to support this proposal. And in this spirit, Boys and Girls Clubs will continue to work with you and to work with FCCA. And regardless of what decision you all make, this school is going to happen. But we hope it happens with you all. Thank you.
All right, we are about halfway through. Michael was speaker number 18, and I know we still have some folks to go up to speaker number 35. So next up is Minister Khalif Muab El. Sorry if I messed up your name. And then, okay, and then let me say who's following. Following will be Shikes. What is it? D. Pigay Spade. Following.
Peace and love, everybody. My name is Minister Khalif Muabel. I'm the Executive Director of Breaking Barriers Mentoring, Inc., founded here in Madison, and I'm also the one who named Focus Interruption Coalition. For me, we don't have a lot of opportunities out here for so-called Black people in the Madison or in the Dane County area. I understand that people are going to be opposed to it, but the more resources and the more support we can have for our children, the better. Right now, the average median household is $75,000 about 10 years ago. But for so-called Black people, it's $37,000. For white people, so-called white people, it's $80,000. All right? The race to equity has not happened yet. And we're still racing to equity
but we're thwarting processes and great opportunities for our youth. That doesn't make sense. That sounds like somebody is trying to sabotage the people and keep the people back and behind. And I'm not on board with that. I support FCCA. I support Mike Johnson. I support Paul Vallis. I support John McKenzie. I support anybody who is trying to pull our people out of the desperation that we are in the state of Wisconsin, number one, and more importantly, in Dane County. We have a problem here. I understand public schools are here, but public schools still pre-existed and still exist now with the race to equity situation happening right now. So that tells us that we need more than just public schools. We need to create another collaboration of people who are willing to focus in on the people who are undermined, the marginalized communities, the people who need the support. They are saying that they're going to focus on our people. Why is anybody opposed to that unless they're racist? My thing is this, systemic racism, we must fight against systemic racism. It's a time in this era now when we must join together and we must unite. We cannot afford division anymore because there are a lot of people out there that are coming up against us to wipe us out of existence. And we're not going nowhere. I support FCCA because it's another opportunity for our children that's effective and that's proven to be effective. In the age of evidence-based practices, you cannot ignore that we need more support here in Madison, Wisconsin, and Dane County. So if we go against that, I want to ask you what side you on. Peace and love.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shikis D. Pigispe. I am in full support of FCCA, and I'm gonna give you a little of my history. I've been a CNA for 52 years and proud of it. During that journey, I had the opportunity to go back to school and acquire a double bachelor's in healthcare administration, health and human services. I also acquired a degree in respiratory therapy and wound care. What I see today is a lot of the children that walk the streets of Madison don't have those opportunities that I was given. They are standing around on street corners or just walking the streets blindly with nothing to do. I believe in my heart of hearts that in conjunction with Madison School District, FCCA can assist in giving them the skills that they need so that they can have a better life and start a new journey. With wood shop, who knows, they may become a master carpenter. With auto mechanics, with just starting there, they may be able to open their own business. Even taking CNA classes, who knows, one day they may become a doctor. Give them that opportunity so that they can have the chance to do the things in life that they don't have the opportunity to do now. I'm not going to take up all of your time. I thank you for letting me speak. Peace be with you.
Thank you. I think our next speaker's name is Talavia. Cole. Following will be Michael Jones, and my apologies if I mispronounced.
Oh, well, Talivia. First off, good evening, everyone. I am Talivia Cole, out of Wisconsin, representing Breaking Barriers, and I am our youth leader. I am 26 years old, and I have been in education for 5 years now. I had the pleasure of graduating from one of the top charter high schools with 26 college acceptance, over 1 million in total in scholarships, and I was still undecided about my path in those moments. And I'm still in debt, right? as a first generation student, while my siblings who went to the workforce right after high school, they a little richer than me right now, right? So they can afford a lot of things. However, I am a proud graduate of Jackson State University. Straight out of college, I went back to my high school and taught junior and senior seminar, which I implemented curriculum that focused on post-secondary options for students that allows them to explore their many options after high school, such as four-year institutions, two-year trade, military, and more. They explore these options while building resumes, writing personal statements, and learning about money management. My 3 years in this field continued the 100% college acceptance rate for that charter school. In other words, all my students were accepted into a college. They all had hopes and dreams, and some was the four-year institution, some was the two-year institution, and some was that trade and workforce and even military. During Alumni Day of last year, I was able to connect with many of my graduates and get an idea of where they were today. Most of them were in the workforce, and they were happy, although they started in college. And some wish they would have started earlier in the workforce. I highlight these experiences to say that options is what we all have and must have. Just like you all have the option to vote in favor of this life-changing effort, this program graduates more Black and brown children in the city each year than any other program. You said your commitment is to the youth and the community. Well, through the stats of this program, the children have spoken. And with the diversity here, the community has spoken. You said every student. Well, every student needs options. Every parent needs choices. And every time we waste on the concerns that could be fixed, we step back from our overall agreed agenda, our next generation. So if you ask me the what, I'll say choice. If you ask me the who, I say the youth. If you ask me the how, I say FCCA style. And if you ask me the why, I would say to change the trajectory of their lives. And my time is up.
All right, next up, we'll have Michael Jones, and then following, we have Sheikh Mustur Rahan L. I'm so sorry if I'm. Thank you.
All right, we good? All right. I've talked to most of you guys already, and I'm always annoying to you, so I'm going to try to speak to the crowd, all right? Because I'm not speaking, ignore the patch. I'm speaking as a Black man, as an educator, as a special educator. And tonight I'm speaking as someone who started his career at a charter school, teaching at a charter school. So I'm not going to talk about what it looks like in 2025 or 2026, but I want you to know this is how a lot of these schools end up in 2030 and 2031. Initial private equity investment into charters, whether they're public, whether they're private, and then they take money from the public, end up getting underfunded. I taught at one that was funded by one of the richest people in the world, Bill Gates. And by the fifth year, Gates Foundation money dried up. So what do? You have to go to the public school system. So the initial money that's here now is not going to be there in 5 years. That's no knock on Mr. McKenzie or Mr. Johnson or anyone in this room who's for FCCA. I'm not saying, we're not going to get into personal attacks. There's already too much personal attacks going on in our community. And that doesn't help anyone, especially the children. But I'm going to talk to you also as a special education teacher, because what happens in a lot of these systems, and you know this, but I just want to let you all know, we have Operation Fresh Start. We have trades access. We have financial literacy classes. Are they always the best staff? No. Do we have enough of them? No. What we've been doing for the last 20, 30 years is cutting them each and every year, every 2 years. And then what they do is 2 years ago, that the Republicans in the legislature put forward a budget would actually give 7 times more money to a charter school or a voucher school than it does to a public education school. A public education student in 2023 got a $300 increase per pupil. A private and a charter school one got $2,100. And then what they do is they keep on pushing a multi-billion-dollar standardized testing system. So in order for us, because we're panicking over the reading scores and the math scores, so then we put all that money into there, and then we cut technology, and we cut childcare, and we cut all these programs that you all are fighting for, and you're all fighting for good things and for our children, right? But what I'm telling you is, as an educator, I'm not just thinking about 2025, 2026, and I'm not just thinking about the child or you or your personal circumstance. I'm thinking about every kid. Public schools are very imperfect. I spend most of my time criticizing you all and the system, okay? And by you all, I mean the school board, not you all. But what I'm saying is this: public schools are imperfect, but they take everyone.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, let's try this again. Sheikh Mustafa Rahim L. All right, then following will be Rasul L. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, members of the MMSD School Board. In light of what's been discussed previously, I'd like to base my foundation on enlightenment. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room wasn't aware of the $6.9 billion infrastructure bill that was implemented by the Biden administration. No? Well, there's one question answered as far as resources. Now, at the local 139, a little further upstate, about a couple hours, for the heavy equipment operators, I noticed that there are at least about 40 or 60 participants that are coming in for in-processing. And I can guarantee you at least over half of the class is getting hired before the first hour is completed. Those hourly wages starting out at 18 years old is $25 or higher. Only thing that I noticed that was an issue was that I was the only brother in the building. I walked around, there was over hundreds of people inside of a newly developed building, almost double the size of the pre-existing building. It's not so much as an issue with availability so much as it is awareness. Make no mistake, there is an issue with availability, but there is an issue with awareness as well. There has to be an equitable transaction being made. There are a lot of youth that have learning disabilities. There are a lot of youth that aren't interested in what the core requisites are in their schools. There are a lot of people that aren't looking for or going towards college. There are a lot of people that I know today that have gone to 4-year degrees and are not in their current field of study. I am a tradesman as well. I taught all over the United States how to operate heavy equipment. And given the fact that we have the money available, we should be providing every opportunity that we can to our youth. It's just some things to look at. Now, opening up this trade school with the FCCA is our best option for Madison, because the money's there in rebuilding our state. So it needs to be equitable for all. And that's all I have.
Thank you. We'll have Umar Rasul L. come forward. And I think it's Kamani Bay will follow.
My name is, and my name is Assistant Grand Sheik Umar Rasul El. And I want to talk to the people today because I've listened to everyone speak. I hear a lot about what needs to be done for the Black and brown community, so on and so forth. But this school is for everybody. Every community needs tradesmen. I hear people speaking against it, talk about anti-Blackness, as if Black people shouldn't take trades. As if Black people shouldn't take trades. Somebody got to. You want us all to go to college? Okay, send them all to college. We'll build a generation of bankers. You can't none of them actually build a bank. We'll send them all to law school, make a bunch of lawyers. Can't none of them build a courthouse. Somebody got to do it. Your car break down, you take it to somebody who took a trade to fix it, because you can't do it. Trades are important to the infrastructure of this city, this state, this country. This is just another option, not just for Black and brown children, but for all children. We're not saying this is a Black and brown school. We're saying this is an avenue for anyone, not even just children, adults as well, for anyone who maybe can't make it in college. You know, but if we're gonna talk about race, then we're gonna talk about the racial disparities in education here in Wisconsin. For those that do go to college, whites graduate at 92%, Blacks at 77%, and that's a 14% jump from last year. That's a big old gap because every college isn't for everyone. I went to college twice. I ain't graduating in time. But I got a trade. I'm a machine operator now. I work with my hands. I can provide for my family now. College didn't teach me that. College wasn't for me. College ain't for everybody. So all it is, the funding ain't there. Yes, it is. We're not even here asking for money. We got that. All we need is a green light. We'll take it from there. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to reread this name because I think I misread it the last time. I think it's Armani Bay. Is that right? Okay. And following Armani Bay will be Pedro Valerio Caro.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with a little twist. I want to first let you all know that I have teachers in the building. Diana Chanel, Michael Johnson have been a big part of my life. I am also a single father for 10, 12 years, raising 3 children. And all of my children did finish school with the help of Michael Johnson, Diana Chanel, and others who will work with trades. So, I mean, everything has been said here. I don't need to say no more, but don't forget about the single parents also that's out there that have children. Some of them children might not go to school like they're supposed to, but they have an alternative. When they get home from school, they have a Boys and Girls Club to go to. They have a Diana Chanel to say, well, come on in here and let me teach you this trade that I know. So, like I say again, I'm not going to be long, but I just want you all to know the single parents out there need you all to think about keeping these schools together and not just private schools and public schools and so on and so forth. Let's work with the trades. Let's help one another. Let's not be selfish in this. Spend this money the way it should be spent.
right, Pedro, if you want to come on up, and then following, we'll have Jerome Sanders.
Hi, my name is Pedro. Today I came to support the Boys and Girls Club with the idea of opening up a charter trade school. I want to start off by saying I wasn't the best student in school, and I'm going to be completely honest, I was pretty lost, and I didn't know what my plans were going to be after high school. I was offered an opportunity to join a pre-apprenticeship program here at the McKenzie Regional Workforce Center. And when I tell you I couldn't have made a better decision for myself, yeah, I mean it. Um, the community, the the community of people they have there makes the whole experience so much better. And I'd say that the cherry on top is that like all those people just want to see you succeed. So for me, that makes me like want to work for it more. Um, the charter trade school proposal really sparked my interest. Why? Um, because they offer alternatives to kids who don't just want to go to school and get a degree, but instead offer other opportunities and make it easier for them to take a next step in their career. I was in the pre-apprenticeship program for 4 months, and with their help, I was able to secure a well-paying job with a good company. I am super grateful for the opportunity they gave me because in that stage of my life, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So seeing this idea of a school that teaches educational subjects and offers a chance to learn about a trade and hands-on work all in one makes me happy because I know that there isn't other kids like I know that there is other kids out there like me and that just don't want to go to college but want to pursue something else. My point is everything is easier when when you have the help and resources, so why not give the next generation a hand? Thank you.
After Jerome, it will be Corey. Corey. Let me get your last. Right, hold on.
Ready? All right, no problem. My name is Jerome Sanders. I am a child from the village of Madison. You what now? In the mic. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay, no problem. Restart my time. I got 15 more seconds. So my name is Jerome Sanders. I am a child from the village of Madison. When they say the saying that it takes a village to raise a child, that statement rings very much true. I was a student at Madison West High School where I was also incarcerated from Madison West High School, where I am a testament of what can go wrong inside of a high school. I had many opportunities from basketball, college basketball, but yet I never seen the identity in any of it. I sat inside of a prison cell. I sat inside of a mentorship program that involved the trades, and I was the third youngest guy at 27 years old with two 19-year-olds. And my point I'm trying to make was the other guys in that class were 30 plus, 40 plus, and all these men were being introduced to the trades for the first time late in life. I couldn't lose sight of how powerful I saw that, like how much of an advantage it would have been had all these men had this invited to them at 16 years old, 15 years old. And I personally now go to the juvenile jails and the youth shelters to speak to youth to let them know how important it is to be able to use something like the trades to where you can be your own boss early in life and you not have to depend upon a job that can be snatched from you and you no longer have that access to provide for yourself and your family. So I am for anything that is for the advancement of children. And from what I've heard, this entire conglomerate of this community here, they all speak in favor of this FCCA. So I feel like it's only right that I do the same. I wanted to thank y'all for allowing me to speak here today. I have former classmates sitting across from me on your board, so I am very much in favor of anything that's forward for Madison, and I believe that y'all will make the right decision. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to try Corey Marino. Marino?
Negative. Marion, no.
Marion, no. All right, thank you for the correction. And then following you will be Ashanti. Is
Collier.
that right? What was that?
Ashanti Collier Slayton.
Yes, Collier Slater. Thank you.
All right. Don't y'all start my minutes yet. I just want to say I see Mia up there. I know she Dr. Joe. See y'all. I'll make a difference in here. Okay, I'm ready to go. I am here to speak about, I wrote notes for the first time today as I was sitting there, but I'm here to speak about the youth that's suffering the most. That's who I want to speak about. I'm not concerned about nobody else right now at this moment because I love everybody. But today, speaking about Black kids, Black Americans, African Americans, and every other name we've been given to not know ourselves. I'm going to speak on what's necessary and what's this school is so needed. Right now, our youth is being raised in juvenile facilities, county jails, and prison systems. I was an individual that learned the trades in prison. I built trailers that people came and bought for 20 grand, 10 grand, and we got paid $1 an hour to build them in Black River Falls here in Wisconsin. So before we get to that, let's make sure we create opportunities for our Black kids by building a pipeline that's necessary. In our youth baseball league, we have pipelines. We don't have pipelines in America, and now we have the lowest amount of youth baseball Black players in the history of baseball because we don't have a baseball pipeline to get them there. For construction, which I work construction at General Heating and Air Conditioning, not many people look like me. If you ride down the street, you don't see them in the street working either. This is a problem because we don't have a pipeline to get our youth into construction. Also, I don't hear many people speaking about our women. What happens when our women don't decide to go to college? You know, the fathers are telling them they don't need to pick up a hammer when they're young. So they don't have an opportunity to ever get into construction. And by the time they get of age, it's hard to get into construction unless you're one of the smartest people on the site. But they have project management positions, flagger positions. They have all type of other positions for women that's not getting an opportunity to do so. And we need to create that opportunity with this school because it's not happening right now. I don't care what nobody say. It's not happening, and it's sad that it's not happening. I want to get going though. I hear so many youth say, I don't want college, ain't for me. I don't want to go to college. But what else do they supposed to do? I seen college students who graduated working in the trades with me because they didn't get the job they thought they were going to get when they graduated. Please don't take a much needed opportunity because of fear, hate, and politics. Our kids deserve more, and this is it. Make it happen.
Following Ashanti, we will have Corinda Rainey Mark.
That's sit there. Okay. My name is Ashanti Collier Slayton. I'm a Madison native. I've been to many Madison MMSD schools all around the city. I'm here, I'm on the board for FCCA, so I'm here to advocate for Ford Career and College Academy. You'll hear me reference Ford Career and College Academy in its name in its entirety because we all need to know the name. Madison is at a crossroads. For too long, our city's youth, especially those from low income and underrepresented communities, have not been prioritized to obtain equitable access to the opportunities that prepare them for thriving futures. Ford Career and College Academy is not just a school, it's a beacon of hope, innovation, and opportunity for our children. It is a transformative solution we desperately need to close educational gaps and equip students with the skills to succeed in a competitive, ever-evolving world. Very few students from economically disadvantaged backgrounds in our district met grade level proficiency in math and reading in the last few years, as we know. Ford Career and College Academy's mission to blend rigorous academics with hands-on career preparation is a game changer. It promises a brighter future where every student, regardless of their zip code or income level, has the tools to achieve economic mobility and personal success. Imagine a school where every student can participate in paid internships, learn financial literacy, and receive mentorships from industry leaders, where students graduate not only with diplomas, but also with tangible career skills, a sense of purpose, and a roadmap for their futures. Ford Career and College Academy's innovative curriculum does not just teach, it transforms. It empowers students to break cycles of poverty and become active contributors to our community. Ford Career and College Academy represents more than education reform. It symbolizes community upliftment. The school will partner with organizations and local businesses to ensure students receive real-world experiences and career pathways. By bridging the gap between education and workforce readiness, Ford Career and College Academy is poised to fill a void in our community while setting a new standard for public education. The time to act is now. Our city's children cannot afford to wait any longer. By supporting Ford Career and College Academy, we are investing in a generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers. Together, we can build a legacy of equity, opportunity, and excellence that will define Madison for decades to come. We told you what we want, we told you what we need, we proved to you why we need it. We've asked for your alliance as a community, and we have exemplified a willingness to make it happen. With all of that, I would think that there would be no response, but how can I help? Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Corinda Rainey Moore.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Corinda Rainey Moore. And I say doctor because you don't get to be a doctor without taking education lightly, right? Right? And I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I am one of 6 children born in a single family. I'm the first in my family to go to college and get a college education. And I say that because, as I mentioned, I'm one of 6, but 5 of my other siblings actually went to a trade school and actually came out financially a lot better than me, even though I got a doctorate degree, because they're in the trades, and they not only were they in the trades, they did not have the financial issues regarding student loans that I've had, because they came out working right away. And I'm not saying that because to say that I don't value education, because I do value education, but I also value giving people options. And even though I am from Chicago, I've actually been in Madison for 44 years. My husband and I, we have raised 2 children, both of whom came all the way through the Madison School District from kindergarten, from actually Head Start. They were in Head Start and they graduated from Madison School District. And I actually have 9 grandchildren, of which 7 of them have come through Madison Metropolitan School District, with 2 of them still being in Madison Metropolitan School District right now at East. And I say that because even though my grandkids, most of them have been successful at Madison Metropolitan School District along with my children, there are some that actually did fall through the cracks. And I'm saying that because that is the reality for a lot of other kids, not just my grandkids. And I'm being transparent in that, because my one grandson, we did put him in college. So it wasn't that we were trying to defray him from going to college. We put him in college. But he told us from the start he didn't want to be there. He wasn't going to be successful there. And guess what? He wasn't successful there. So we had to bring him back. Rather than pouring more money in and wasting dollars, we brought him back. And had he learned to trade, he wouldn't be there. And I would say my grandkids, have all been in all the programs that MMSD offer. They've been in Avid, they've been in People, they've been in STEM, and there are cracks in all of them. I'm being transparent. And I say there's cracks in all of them because my grandkids actually did, one of them got kicked out of Avid, even though, and then Avid told him he could reapply. Now, if you're not successful with the help of Avid, how are you going to be successful by yourself when they say you can come back and apply? It's shameful. And then my other grandkids who've been in the STEM program, even though they were in the STEM program, there were cracks in that program too, because you know why? They didn't have any connections to the counselors at East. They never stepped foot in East unless they were getting their gowns. And there were different ways that they could have leveraged that experience. So I'll stop there, but I'll say I'm supportive of this because I'm supportive of giving kids options.
Right. All right, up next, we have Makia Price, and then following will be Keon Hudson. I think it's Hudson or Hutzer. Okay. And we're down to just a few more speakers at this point.
Hello, my name is Makia Price, and I am a parent and a community advocate. And I just want to say, we as Madison School District, we should be moving forward. Like, we came a long way. We started some new programs for early literacy. We got programs, we're working with MACT, where kids are getting trades options. This program don't have a lot of knowledge to it, and we cannot go back. We are moving forward as a district. Our kids are only succeeding at a 10%. One thing everybody said tonight was, parents, we gotta work hard. This is a two-parent state. I get that, so a lot of people not here to speak on this, but we can, if this is a partnership, we should partner. If you got all this money to help Madison School District, let's partner and get more teachers and get another G2 program, but just not enough knowledge on this. So that's just my input. We're moving forward as a district, and I appreciate you guys tonight.
We'll have Keon. Oh, okay, thank you. All right, Eric Howland. And then Maddie Reese. And we'll have our final.
I'm Eric Howland, and I'd like to speak to a little bit to my experience as a community member in terms of charter schools. I'm an old man. I've been here since the One City Charter School went through, and at that time I voted against it. And from what I now think is a misunderstanding. Years later, I became a volunteer at the One City Schools, and I realized that they were doing something in terms of creating an educational community that was powerful for the students within the school. And I am not going to speak about the Madison schools and the way students go through the Madison schools, because although my son went through Madison schools, it was a different story for them. But I would like to speak about learning communities and how a learning community where, like West, where there's a class of kids that are going one way, and then there's a class of kids that are kind of disconnected or can be disconnected, some aren't, it doesn't strengthen our community that way. And creating a learning community of kids that have an interest in this case, trades, seems to me like an excellent idea. It seems like a way that the the students can come together and get a vision. And I think every adolescent kid is trying to struggle with that. How are they going to make that transition from being part of the family to being in the world? And they need a vision how to do that. And we've heard tonight several people who said they came out of school and they didn't have a vision. They didn't see how they could get into a good place within our society. Society didn't look very welcoming to them. And I think that a school like this, a charter school like this, within the confines of the Madison Metropolitan School District, can create that vision for more kids. And that then creates energy, it creates learning, and it creates a way for the kids to find a path into our society. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Maddie Reese. I am an advocate for the Madtown Mamas. Of course, you guys probably know us very well. So I'm here. I listen to everybody speak, and I'm not here to say I'm against it or for it. But what I do know is that I have a 23-year-old son who is in the prison system right now. He came through MMSD, and it was a pipeline from MMSD to prison. And I'm not here to blame you guys. Life. But he gave me a phone call yesterday, and he said, "Hey, Mom, when I get out, I'm thinking about taking up construction. I'm thinking about taking up this. I'm thinking about taking up that. But some of these trades he's going to have to get in prison, right? So, and it's not even guaranteed that when he comes home that he's going to be able to get a job. But what I would like to see, I know that we're starting from high school with these trades, but I'm concerned a little bit because my son is 23. What happens to the 18 to 27-year-olds? They're lost. There's a crack in our system right there. And they have nowhere to turn to. My second concern is I advocate for special education. What about our disabled students? I haven't read the proposal, just got phone calls through the community. Some are against it. Some feel like it's a pipeline to slavery again. I kind of disagree. I play both ends of the fence because I could see this trade school as being something successful here in Madison due to the fact that a lot of our kids are not going to go to college. I went to school 12 years after graduation, coming to college, and now I got a $50,000 bill that I got to pay. And how am I going to pay it? I'm a one-parent mother. So I'm just here to say, I know that this board is well educated. I have seen this board be bullied before. I have been part of the bullying to this board. What I would like you guys to do is take a minute. Don't rush this. Look at it. Analyze it. We have a lot of people in our community here who does great work, even from the Boys and Girls Club, back to the Black Men Coalition, even to myself with my nonprofit who helps the homeless. I say that we take a look at this, and if we're going to work together, let's work for our students. Let's work for our children. We know that our children need help. We know that businesses, especially Black businesses here in Wisconsin, we have to make a way. So what I'm asking you to do is take some time, think about it. You know, I know you guys have connections with each other, but what I'm asking is do the education on it and then make a great decision.
All right, our final registered speaker is Joseph, I think it's Dorothy. Say it again. All right.
Brady board members, how you doing? My name is Joseph Dorothy. I'm founder and CEO of In Motion Medical Transportation. I'm born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin here. I went to La Follette High School, and La Follette High School didn't really work out for me. I got sent to a program called New Directions. Through that program, it was more of a hands-on program where we did community service every Tuesday and Thursday. I found interest in the community service, what kind of kept me going, and because of that, I was able to know I'm a hands-on person. I'm not too much of someone that can learn by books and sitting down. It just don't work out for me. It don't work out for everyone. I was kind of pushed through New Directions as a easy go out kind of deal. I really don't feel like I learned as much as I could or should have in the school system. I don't know, what the reason for that was, but whenever I did, graduate, I went to Madison Media Institute, couldn't keep up, left there, went to Harper College in Illinois, didn't work out, left there, ended up finding a career in just building my own empire, kind of. So what we did with family members of mine, and we kind of we sorry we built something just based off of what we know. I mean, I like driving. I figured out what I like to do, and I started a company. I now employ 25, individuals, 80% of them being family members. From there, I went on to buy properties. I got 2 duplexes. I got 33 acres up north. And what I enjoy doing from there is remodeling them. So I kind of, like the fact that I'm good at something finally. So I want the program that they're offering with the charter school is I want to continue to grow my family in that direction. So I mean, if they offer in trades for construction, I mean that's something that I'd want my family to be involved in. Because if we're talking about generational wealth, I mean, that's a good start for myself and my family. So I think that's a real good avenue, and I support it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think that concludes all of our registered speakers tonight. I do want to, before we close our public input, I want to confirm that there is no one in the audience who is here to provide public comment regarding the detachment or the attachment of property currently located within the Verona Area School District. Is that correct? All right, well then, thank you all. We appreciate you all coming. We're gonna take a recess, but thank you. Our public comment section is done. All right, we are going to resume from our recess. Hello, if you're still in the auditorium and want to talk, please know that we are resuming our business meeting. Thank you. All right, I'm going to move us to the minutes. I move that the Board of Education approve the minutes from the regular meeting dated December 19th, 2024.
Second, Maya.
All right. Megan, your advisory vote. All those in favor? All right, that passes, and I see you, Blair. All right, thank you, that's unanimous. All right, we are now moving into board president's announcements and reports. I'm gonna have Vice President Pearson start us off.
Okay, we are celebrating literacy with the Mad for Reading. We are pleased to recognize the recent rollout of Mad for Reading Literacy Initiative, which launched last week. The campaign, which is focused on equity, excellence, in the science of reading, will be run district-wide over the next several months, with each school encouraged to host their own literacy-themed events that best suit the needs of their communities. The overarching goal is to create a culture in all of our buildings where literacy is prioritized and where reading empowers not just our students, but their families and our broader community as well. We hope you'll join us as we move forward.
All right, an HR update. As we heard in this month's operations work group, our human resources team has been working tirelessly to ensure that we as a district are fully staffed and that MMSD remains a place where rewarding careers is in mission-driven work are built. We're excited to note that both teacher turnover and substitute fill rates have continued to improve, which has positive cascading effects that extend beyond any one classroom. We are always on the lookout for eager, qualified candidates to join our team and look forward to building on the momentum that we've generated since school began in September.
Our vaccine clinics in the fall, we held several vaccine clinics in partnership with the local health providers and realized record levels of participation. On February 8th, we will host an additional clinic at the Holtzman Learning Center from 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. All are welcome. There is no cost and no insurance is required to receive a shot. With communicable diseases like pertussis and RSV on the rise, we urge everyone in need of a vaccination to come and get immunized. We all play a part in helping to keep our community healthy.
All right, about our strategic framework, we want to thank everyone who participated in the first of 4 planned strategic framework steering committee meetings, as well as all who volunteered to participate in the process. We are excited to begin this important work, and the contributions of those in attendance will be vitally important as we chart a course forward for our district. In other acknowledgements in tonight's consent agenda, the board would like to acknowledge and thank all individuals and organizations that have donated to the district, especially Friends of MSCR, which donated $41,148 in support of MSCR's mission and programming, and the La Follette High School Booster Club, which donated $12,500 for a variety of student and staff initiatives. Thank you very much. And now I'll pass it over to the superintendent for Dr. Goddard's announcement.
Thank you, President Nichols, members of the board. Jesse, cue up the slides, please. Great. Well, let's start with going way back to December. Right before break, students attended a special event at the Cole Center where the UW women's basketball team hosted a memorable celebration. This event highlighted our exciting partnership with the Wisconsin Badgers, whose student athletes have been visiting our schools to uplift literacy and inspire a love of reading among our second graders. And I have to tell you, if any of you were there, I've been to a lot of games at the Cole Center over my life or the lifetime of the Cole Center. I don't think I've ever heard the pitch of screams and yelling and students having so much fun. I will never forget that day of seeing our students in that lower bowl, and it was just incredible. And I will also say a great surprise sitting courtside, which was fun, but even better, I recognized or found out about a half hour in that this young lady sitting next to me was the daughter of one of my former students. Um, made it really special. We were talking boxing out and everything during the game, so really made it a special day. And what a wonderful way to go into our winter break as well. Thank you to the UW Athletic Department and all those responsible for pulling off this wonderful day. Next slide. Had the opportunity to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at various community events. Joined 7 of our students at the 39th Annual Women in Focus I Have a Dream Scholarship Ball. I participated in the MLK Youth Breakfast hosted by the Urban League of Greater Madison, where more than 300 students from schools across Dane County were recognized as outstanding young persons. I also attended the MLK Youth Call to Service at the Madison Public Library, where more than 100 middle school students spent the day. And I should just share this as well. You know, I get there towards the end of a day at the MLK Call to Service, thinking that, oh, these middle school students are going to be ready to go. Honestly, I think the opposite is true. I think we had a hard time clearing the room. They were really engaged, and I got there late in the day, so I didn't get to see a lot of their interaction, but they sure were interested in speaking with the mayor, Dr. Anthony from the Urban League, and the mayor, Mayor Rose Conway, myself there. And it was really a wonderful way to culminate that day. And then, of course, that night was the Dane County MLK observance at the Overture Center. Just to, can't even put into words how much these events meant to our community. And I think Madison and Dane County do it quite differently than other communities that I've been involved in over the years, and something I'm really proud of. I participated also on the Association of Wisconsin School Administrators, also known as ASA, Leading with Purpose, Superintendents of Color, Driving Excellence and Equity panel as part of the Education Leaders of Color Collaborative Conference. Oh, wow. There's a long acronym, but I read it out. This organization is committed to helping aspiring school district leaders and superintendents be prepared to be our leaders now and in the future. And then last week, I also joined board members Nichols and Multro at the Wisconsin State Education Conference, where MSBA, WSBA, Wisconsin School Board, WASB, came together with our State Superintendents Association, WASDA, and our business association, WASBO. I think I got all those right. Oh my goodness, I'm acronymed out. All of our Wisconsin school officials came together at a conference in Milwaukee. That's a better way to say it. But once again, a chance to collaborate as a K-12 system across the state. Again, I always find it fascinating at these conferences. You know, sometimes we get the perspective that Madison is so different than everyone else. You find out when you're talking to peers around the state, whether their districts are big, small, rural, suburban, urban, that we all really struggle with a lot of the same challenges. That collaboration, the professional learning community that we can form, and especially when you have board members and administrators there together, really a powerful conference. So really happy that I was able to spend some time there last week as well. President Nichols mentioned our community members who joined the Strategic Framework Committee. I won't rehash all of that. I'll say this, as part of those efforts and bringing that group together, I've also been meeting with school staff and students throughout the district as well through structured school visits. I've been on maybe a half a dozen so far and have lots more scheduled throughout the spring. And one thing I'll share with you is asking students to share their ideas on what they love about school. Every one of those meetings so far has made me realize that we focus on and listen to so much that is sometimes challenging, or let's just say wrong, in our schools and our community. But when you ask students to focus on what's great, they don't run out of things to say. And their body language tells me that they're really happy to be asked, you know, what they really like about their experiences too. And it's just made me think a lot about going into strategic planning, how we frame what we're asking for, and the feedback and the engagement that we want to be part of. It's going to be really important as we move forward. And it doesn't mean that we look over the things that are challenging us, but we cannot forget what is really going well and building on what our students love about their school. So great job to everyone that I've been able to meet with so far, and I look forward to the upcoming visits that I have scheduled. Finally, just about coming to an end here, School districts across the state are facing funding challenges. We know this. A strong advocacy efforts are underway. Another acronym that I want to share with you, but I'll spell it out, is the Greater Dane County School District Governance Consortium. It focuses on 3 priorities: eliminate academic, social, and emotional gaps for our students, advance best governance practices, and advocate for our public schools at the local, state, and federal levels. I've shared their platform with you last week in the update, and really want you and others in our community to review this if you come across it. And it really does spell out ways that we're becoming galvanized as a district community, a county community, but there's more and more support throughout the state for this. And I'll just share very briefly that the top 2 things on this platform are, 1, to increase special education reimbursement over time so that it closes it. Many of you know, viewers, if you're listening, that MMSD transferred $66.4 million from our general education fund to cover the lack of full reimbursement from the state government, from state and federal government, to cover our costs for specialized services. For the state, it's $1.8 billion. So this is not just a Madison issue. This is a Wisconsin public school district issue. And the second is to keep up with inflation, index our per pupil formula so that 3, 4, 5 years from now, we don't find ourselves behind from the resources that we receive from our local communities. So we're really looking for an update there. You can see the graph on that platform showing that there's a $3,380 per pupil gap between if inflation were to be factored into our annual per pupil formula. You can see how much more Madison and districts across the state would receive in their share of aid. So these are the 2 that have come out to the top in terms of advocacy from this group, and things that we're going to be working on as a board and as a community so that we make sure that our voices are heard when decisions are made. Lastly, board president and vice president covered Mad for Reading. Really excited about that, but there's a nice picture of our kickoff at Southside Elementary last week. Wonderful evening, and the first of many in this community coming together to make sure that our students, our families, our partners, and everyone who cares about the education of children knows how important literacy is and what we can do as a collective to support our students. Board President, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. All right, let me get us into the rest of our agenda. Next, we will hear about the items that proceeded through the instruction work group held on January 6th, 2025, and I'll have Chair Muldrow speak on that.
Thank you so much, Board President Nichols. At our last instruction work group, we talked about summer programming. So we got an update from our administration on summer school and our promotion policy related to Act 20. We heard from our superintendent's wellness advisory committee. We will meet again as a work group on February 3rd, so this coming Monday. And we will hear an update on our 3-year plan for special education and our final proposal on the name for Southside Elementary School. Thank you.
Yes, next we'll have a report on items proceeded through the operations work group held on January 13th, 2025, and Chair Castro will report on that work group.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. We held a operations work group meeting on January 13th, 2025, where we reviewed progress to date on HR, particularly around recruitment and retention. We started our 25-26 development of the budget, and we kind of grounded ourselves in the core principles that will guide us through the budget, and just forecasting a timeline of events that will occur. We then talked about the referendum and facilities update, which some items will appear tonight on the consent agenda. And then we reviewed 3 policies, one of which I believe we are rescinding tonight. The other 2, we're going to make another pass through. Our next meeting is on February 10th, 2025, 2025. On that agenda, we will continue the development of the budget. We'll talk about summer school, and then we'll talk about the state budget outlook and maybe an update on transfer.
Sounds like a packed agenda. Okay. Board member Mosner Feltham, can you hear us now? Okay. All right, we had one action item that did proceed through the operations work group held on January 13th, and that was, as board member Castro said, a policy 2601, long distance phone calls. So I'll just read the motion. I don't know, are we doing any framing on this or no? All right, I'll just read the motion as it is. I move that the Board of Education rescind the long-distance phone calls policy for reasons set forth in the document prepared for January 27th, 2025 regular meeting. The policy will be rescinded effective immediately.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Board Member Vandermeulen.
Hi, the policy committee the policy committee went through this, and we've had 2 board meetings to discuss this, correct? And 1 board meeting, I'm sorry. 1 board meeting to discuss this, and very simply, I'm willing to take it. I think we're willing to take any questions, but this basically has become obsolete because basically we're not really charging for long distance, and most people are using cell phones. That's all I have.
Any other questions? All right. Megan, your advisory vote. All right, all those in favor, aye? All right, that looks like, and I see Blair online, that is approved. I mean, that passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to our main agenda. I move that the Board of Education adopt and approve all of the motions set forth in Section 10 of the electronic agenda prepared for the January 27th, 2025 regular school board meeting, exactly as said motions are written. By voting affirmatively on this motion, a board member expresses his, her, or their affirmative vote on each of the motions consolidated hereby, subject to any express separations that have been made by any member of the school board.
Second, Maya.
All right, are there any separations? All right, seeing and hearing none. Megan, your advisory vote. All those in favor? All right. And I see Blair. All right, that passes unanimously. All right. I'm going to move us down to other reports to the board. Starting with the City County Schools Collaborative Committee, myself and board member Simkin are on that committee. We were not able to hold our January 8th meeting due to lack of quorum. Our next possible date to meet is February 12th, 2025, and we will be bringing forward the same agenda that we did not cover in January. Moving on to Student Senate.
Our last meeting was on January 15th. We talked about what the Board of Education has been doing before moving into our heroic improv workshop, which is very fun. And then going into our committee time. Our next meeting is on January 29th, 2025, which is when we will start talking about elections for the new president and the new Board of Education round.
Next, the Madison School and Community Recreation Advisory Committee. Board member Mosner Feltham.
It's me. How's my sound? Great. Okay. Winter programs at MSCR are up and running. Over 14,000 people are currently participating in MSCR programs. 14,000. Summer planning is in full swing. MSCR summer jobs will be posted on February 7th with hundreds of openings in youth programs, camps, sports, arts, aquatics, and more. Registration for those programs will begin March 10th, Monday, March 10th at noon.
Thank you. Next, we have the Citizens Ad Hoc Committee to name Southside Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. So here are my updates. Chairperson Greg Jones will be joining the instructional work group meeting on Monday, February 3rd, to formally make the recommendations from the ad hoc committee to the board. So the 4 ranked proposals for Southside Elementary are, and again, these are ranked. First is Southside Community. Second, Ada Deer. Third, Lori Carey, and fourth, Nine Springs. Each of the proposals are on the website. We encourage the community to give their input on the website as well. The final vote will take place on Monday, February 24th. At the regular meeting of the Board of Education Ad Hoc Committee members will be in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a report for the policy committee? Okay.
We will be hosting a policy committee formal meeting on February 19th. And we will have a slate of policies that we will discuss, and we'll make sure to send that out to the board prior to that. Thank you.
Okay, no other reports at this time. All right, moving on to other business of the 2023-24 financial statement audit. I believe bringing up a couple of folks, and we note that the audit reports from Whippley are attached.
President Nichols, if I may. Thank you, President Nichols, members of the board. Natalie Rue is our comptroller, and she's going to walk us through tonight's presentation. I believe also bring in a guest that will join us as well. So Natalie, thanks for your hard work and look forward to your report.
All right. Does that work? Great. Good to see you again. It's been a big year. Waiting for her to pull up down his way. There he is. I can see him. Thank you for spending the time waiting for this. We have with us Rob Ganshaw from Whippley to present the audit. I do want to say that once again, we have had a clean audit with no journal entries. Really, it's unheard of, but I have a great team, and I will not list the 20 people on our team, but this doesn't happen at year end. This is a year-round process, and I just want to thank my team, and I will hang around for questions after Rob has presented the audit.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to speak with you tonight. Can you hear me okay? Great, thank you. I'll try and make this brief, as I'm sure that you're ready to get out the door with everything that you've heard already tonight. But if you could flip to the next page of there we go. We typically share 3 different documents with the board, financial statements, a single audit report, and then the smallest of the documents that we share with you is our disclosure letter that contains the required communications that that we need to share with you on an annual basis. And as you can see here, under the qualitative aspects of accounting practices, that's basically where we outline what our responsibilities and duties are as far as the audit goes. And we also highlight in there if there were any new accounting standards that were adopted during the current year. The only standard that was adopted this year was implementing GASB 100 regarding accounting changes. just requires us, if there's a restatement or if there are new standards that are implemented that cause a restatement to the prior year numbers, it changes how we have to present it in the financial statements now and requires additional reporting in the footnotes. Pleased to share with you again this year that we had no difficulties during the performance of the audit. As Natalie had already shared with you, we have no corrected or uncorrected misstatements. That's wonderful. We deal with a lot of school districts where that's not the case. It's always nice to be able to come in and know that the numbers that you're working with aren't going to be changing once you get them. We also had no disagreements with management of the district during the performance of our audit. We also are required to get representations from your management as they relate to the audit and the single audit itself. To our knowledge, management did not consult with any other auditors on matters that would have affected our opinion or on any of the amounts included in the financial statements. The only other item that I will share with you, and it'll get brought up a little bit later as well, is in our single audit this year as it related to state funding. We did identify an issue in regards to how pupil transportation was reported to Department of Public Instruction. If you can forward to the next slide for me. We issue multiple opinions on your financial statements. One is on internal controls and compliance as it relates to the financial statements themselves. We also issue a report on internal and compliance as it relates to your federal and state programs. And then we issue an overall opinion on the financial statements themselves. As Natalie previously shared with you, we did issue an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which is in a sense means it's a clean opinion. The overall internal control and compliance, once again, identifies a positive control environment, and that really reflects upon you as a school board, as well as the senior leadership at the school district, implementing a strong tone at the top of what your expectations are of the individuals that are working at the district. As we state here, the district and management continues to place a high importance on implementing internal controls to make sure that your financial records are maintained in an accurate manner. We did not identify any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses as it relates to the financial statements. And the last item, as I alluded to previously, we identified no federal non-compliance this year. We did have one state non-compliance related to special education transportation. We do detail that out in the single audit report, but basically what it relates to is special education students typically are not to be reported on both the regular education transportation table and then getting claimed for aid under special education program. When we did our sample of students this year, we did find a number of students that were claimed on both the regular education transportation table and also being provided special education transportation. The amount it amounted to, our estimate came to under $10,000. So we were not required to put a question cost in the report. Next page, please. Independent audited report. This is basically what the big thing that you pay us for is the report that where we provide our opinions. Like I had mentioned, we issued an unmodified opinion, aka a clean opinion, which means that the financial statements are in all material respects correct. We don't look to find every mistake that could be possibly included in the financial records. We would be there for a year if we tried to do that. And it's not, the standards only require us to look at material misstatements. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on the financial statements, and management's responsibility is to prepare and provide us with those financial statements. And I'm happy to share with you that Natalie and her team do a very good job preparing those financial statements. They provide us with a draft of the financial statements. We go through and review them, compare them to the trial balances, and look at the footnotes, make sure everything's agreeing back and forth, and typically have very minimal updates to those reports after her and her team provide them to us. Next page, please. Biggest item that we typically share with you each year as we go through the detail of the general fund balance. If you want to see more details as to the specific items that are included in these buckets, that can be found on page 53 of the financial statements. But basically, the district has 4 different buckets of fund balance at year end. Non-spendable, which means amounts that are in a non-spendable form because you can't readily turn them into cash, or they are required to remain intact, or they're a long-term asset that you can't sell the next day or within the next couple months. That amount this year was approximately 2.4 million. Restricted, these amounts are outside entities or regulations, laws, contributors, creditors identify that these amounts can only be spent on specific items. So therefore, they are broken out separately. And that amount this year was about $2.2 million. Assigned, this is fund balance amounts where either the board or your management has identified specific projects that you would like to use these amounts for, but you don't take formal action as a school board to restrict these dollars. If you would take formal action on these, they would be considered committed, and you would have to take that same formal action in order for those dollars to be able to be spent. Assigned, you basically put a tag on them to be used for items, and then as they're spent, they're just removed from that assigned area. The district has about $16.8 million in that assigned fund balance at year end. The remaining fund balance that isn't in any one of those categories falls into the unassigned category. And these are resources that can be spent at the district's discretion. typically, if you have an unbudgeted expenditure that comes up, for some reason, you would need to replace a large amount of computers that wasn't in the budget, or you had a significant uninsured situation that would happen, or even an insured situation where you would have a larger deductible, you would be able to tap into these unassigned dollars. The unassigned fund balance also allows the district to minimize the amount of bridge funding that you need to do to carry over while you wait to get reimbursed on your grant dollars or receive your state funding as it relates to your general aids that you get. So you need to have some operating capital on hand, and by having a sufficient fund balance, that allows you to do that. At year end this year, you're at about $93.1 million. Total fund balance is about $115 million. In comparing that to last year, that's an overall increase of about $24 million. And basically, when you look at the budget for last year, you anticipated using about $12.4 million. So budget to actual actually came out, about $36 million to the good. The vast majority of that was due to generating revenues in excess of what you had budgeted, and that was about $23.6 million. And then you were able to, basically holding the line on your expenditures, you came in under the expenditure budget by about $13 million. So overall, you were able to build fund balance a little bit, which in today's day and age is a little bit harder to do for districts. If you want to go to the next slide, we typically talk to you about, where an unassigned fund balance should be sitting at any particular point in time. Our typical recommendation, as well as the Government Finance Officers Association, which is a national association for all governmental type entities, typically recommends a minimum of at least 2 months of operating expenditures, and that equates to about 17% of your operating budget at year end. So if we look at the district, your unassigned general fund balance this year was that 93 million, and total general fund expenditures on a GAAP basis on page 56 were $507 million. That calculates out to about 18.4% this year. Last year, it was about 16.3%. So when you look at that, you're still, relatively close to that 17%. The last item that's bolded on there, I just want to point it out. Those are just recommendations. There's a lot of factors that need to be taken into account when you're looking at that fund balance and what may be appropriate. I'm not going to say we're in volatile times, but we just got through an election cycle, and nobody really knows what's going to definitely be happening at the federal level or the state level as far as it relates to educational funding. Pupil counts, obviously that is huge. So with all of that there, it may be prudent to have a little larger unassigned fund balance than you have in the past, just to make sure that you're covered. And that is the extent of the comments that I have for you tonight. And I would open it up for any questions that you want to ask Natalie.
Questions, board members?
Rob,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for deflecting those questions at me.
Thank you. For the last few years, we've had really extensive conversations about our deficit and what that meant in terms of impact on our fund balance. So I've been told pretty consistently for the last 3 years that we will spend a significant portion of fund balance. I've also told that we run a very serious risk of going under the threshold for the minimum of our fund balance based in this board's own policy. And as I've been told that routinely, I have pointed out that we are outside the parameters of our own policy, that we are actually outside of our policy because we have more fund balance, not too little fund balance. I'm advocating that we shift our policy to be one in alignment with where we're at in terms of fund balance, but also to really position us with a level of leverage related to our borrowing, our short-term. And so, given the fact that last year we were at 16.3% and the max we're supposed to be at is 15%, and now we've climbed again to 18.4%, what is our administration's recommendation related to our fund balance policy? And is there anything we should be concerned about given that we are not currently within our own policy?
Good question. Our fund balance policy is a policy that's going to be reviewed at the February retreat. We're taking a look right now at Whitley's recommendation of the 17%. I've also got data pulled of all the districts and where they set, so we can do some comparisons of districts, both the Big Five and Dane County, to form the board. But as Rob pointed out, the recommendation of the firm is to increase our fund balance percentage to 17%. And then, so I remind the board, we're monitoring the actual expenditures to budgeted, but this year is balanced with $23 million out of that fund balance to positive. Now, clearly, we're going to have some expenditures that are going to be less than budgeted because we've had some vacancies, but the vacancies are nowhere near what we've had in the last 2 years. So we're going to continue to monitor it, talk about that.
That's tremendously exciting. And there's also the impact of the referendum, right? Which is something that I think we factored in. But, I think there's a lot of moving pieces to our budget. Were we to change our policy to 17%, would that represent the top of our policy or the bottom of our policy? If we wanted a policy that represented where our bottom should be and the top is really what it would take for us to have the option not to pay interest in terms of short-term borrowing, what would we need the top and bottom of our policy to be? And I'm sorry if that question's confusing.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think we'll continue to do our research and be ready to talk more about the specifics. I will say, my experience are normally boards have a percent that they meet, not a range. I think I've shared with the board before. Kind of unique for our district to have that range in terms of the wording of the policy. I think we can revisit that. Our bond ratings are very good for a lot of reasons. Part of it is us meeting our fund balance policy, and budgeting. The rating agencies like that; they appreciate that. We're going to continue to need to do the cash borrowing as we did. Now, I'll say we've requested 10 million less than we historically have this year, 50 million instead of 60 million, in part because we have a stronger fund balance, which is saves us money in terms of what we're paying on that. But we'll continue to look at, should it be a range or should it be a dollar amount? And then kind of make some projections out based on the operating referendum and where that would put us. And obviously, that limits us in terms of improving expenditures because of the balance that we set if we.
I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Our short-term borrowing amount is between 50 and $60 million on average.
For cash flow purposes, it's $50 million. It is this year, and that's for us. It's primarily contingent because we're a district that operates on property tax revenues and not state aid, and we don't get our first big payments until January. So we have to borrow money to make our payrolls throughout the year.
Okay. If I'm doing kind of fast math on that, that borrowing would add up to about 10% of our budget. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically, we already have enough fund balance. We absolutely couldn't engage in short-term borrowing to cover the cost.
No, so actually, the way the accounting math works, unfortunately, we have other assets other than just cash, which is pretty much what we have receivables. We have a lot of money at year end tied up in receivables from the federal and state government. But what actually happens on our cash flow cycle, which we monitor monthly, actually weekly, by January 1st, we are really operating on probably the bottom of the barrel. We are really waiting for that tax levy to come in to make payroll. So we actually operate on a very tight cash flow. There's times where we have a lot of money, like right now, the taxes just came in this week. And 2 weeks ago, I was holding my breath. So that's why when we do this, we look at what's our lowest point and what do we need to keep us out of going negative. And we actually levy the amount that we're lowest negative. We borrow the amount that we're lowest negative. So when we do the cash flows, if we hit 50, that's what I'm looking for.
I greatly appreciate that. I think it's hard to take into consideration what cash flow looks like for a school district because it's just a really different dynamic than what you would see in a smaller entity or an entity that is part of the public sector.
And we're so heavily reliant on the tax levy, so we have to wait until January. And we're very lucky that the collections come in in the cycle that they come in so strongly in January for us.
Natalie and Bob, I want to thank your team for this audit. It's really impressive to see us land in this space and to see us produce a clean audit given the kind of moving pieces of the last few years. I'm tremendously grateful for the work you all did. The last thing I want to point out is that there's a really interesting point in this document on page 12 of the management discussion analysis for year end June 30th, 2024. And it gives a breakdown and a graph of our sources of revenue. And 18% is operating grants and contributions. And I think that that's important to bring up and highlight because we have a policy we're going to revisit that is specific to the efforts our staff make to generate revenue aggressively and alleviate pressure from our local taxpayers. And so 18% means about 1 in every $5 is grant funding, is donation or philosophically informed. And I think that is really important to recognize, both in terms of acknowledging almost 20% of our budget is coming from, support and initiatives that our community is tremendously enthusiastic about. Is there anything you want us to understand about the implications of the policy related to kind of that aggressive pursuit of grant funding and funding that alleviates the taxpayer. Is there anything you want us to know in terms of how that figure fluctuates year to year?
I would mention that last year we were a little skewed because I would mention that last year we were a little skewed because we were winding down the ESSER money. That's not usual. However, we do have a very strong culture and there of fundraising in this district. We have an amazing grant writer who she spends a lot of time just looking for grants and digging for grants and really figuring out sometimes how to take someone's smaller idea and make it a bigger grant. So Terry does a really great job of bringing money into this district.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I just want to say I really appreciate you pointing out ESSER because I think there could be a sense next year that we changed that policy and all of a sudden we became lackluster about grant funding. And the truth is that ESSER funding made up about $43 million
Correct.
of that number. And so I just think that's something to keep in mind when we are looking at this next year, that I think it would be tremendously hard for one person to raise an additional $43 million.
Correct. Correct.
And so thank you so much for answering my questions this evening, y'all.
I also just wanted to congratulate you and thank you for all of the hard work on this audit, or all of the hard work that you do that resulted in this amazing audit. I do, just for my own clarification, I don't know if it's even a finding, the one thing that they noted about the transportation, what do they attribute that to? Like, is it, it wasn't listed as an internal control issue. What is that kind of thing called?
It really was a reporting issue with the transportation team in terms of them pulling the data and then understanding what the data was for. We've had a lot of conversations with the prior transportation team, and now Scott and Vanessa Cruz, the current director of the transportation unit, about what they're required to do, the steps they need to take to verify the data before they submit it in terms of just reporting for the categorical aids, and then also when the audit firm is pulling their sample sizes, that we understand what we're pulling and just really honestly double check the numbers before you submit. So kind of simple steps, but reminders for folks that aren't used to reporting information for the categorical aid programs, and then just for pulling that information for kind of a lack of understanding of what these numbers are and that they're important. So we feel we got a good handle on it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Transportation team did put together a long process memo on checks and balances for this before they provided me with their solution to the error. I usually don't like to say, hey, we're going to try to fix this. I usually like to say we acknowledge the finding and we have a plan to fix it, and we've implemented procedures, which is where we are.
Thank you. Can I just ask one additional question? So as we know, Fund 50 was in the negative, and then we had to transfer funds from the general fund to cover. In an audit process, when you have a fund like Fund 50, which I've always understood is supposed to be kind of self-sustaining, does that count in any particular way against the district, or is it noted somewhere? Or as long as we're covering it kind of internally, it doesn't matter so much?
The rules require us to have Fund 50 balanced at the end of the year. It's not uncommon for school boards to use their Fund 10 balance or general fund to balance Fund 50, because if they wouldn't, you really have to do one of two things: increase participation or raise the fees for the breakfast and lunch. So it's really difficult to run a program without a subsidy. But as you recall, we presented and are implementing a 10-year plan to get us back to hopefully sustainability, but it's going to take some time.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just second Bob's comments there. I would say 85% of the school districts that we do audits for have to subsidize their food service programs in some manner. Because it really depends, depending on the cost of the food and what you're getting, because you only get reimbursed a certain amount by the federal government. They tell you what you're going to get depending on what your population is. And, in a lot of school districts, it would be hard to charge the price needed to make that fund break even and have families be able to afford it, especially if they have multiple kids in school.
Great, thank you so much. All right, well, seems like this is a celebration, isn't it? It is. I mean, thumbs up. Okay.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. All right, our next business item is the attachment and detachments between Verona Area School District and MMSD. All right. The Madison Metropolitan School District resolution regarding agreement to alter school district boundaries. Whereas a meeting of the school board of the Madison Metropolitan School District was held on January 27th, 2025, and whereas the Verona Area School District and the Madison Metropolitan School District being adjoining school districts, have proposed to detach property from the Verona Area School District and attach such property to the Madison Metropolitan School District, and such property being specifically described in Attachment 1. Whereas the agreement seeks to detach said property from the Verona Area School District and attach that property to the Madison Metropolitan School District, and whereas the assessed value of the territory proposed to be attached to the Madison Metropolitan School District and detached from the adjoining school district, Verona Area School District, divided by the assessment ratio of the taxation district is less than 7% of the equalized valuation of the Madison Metropolitan School District. And whereas less than 7% of the enrollment of the Verona Area School District from which the territory is proposed to be detached resides in the territory proposed to be detached, with the number of pupils therein being 0. And whereas the number of pupils residing in the territory set forth above as of January of 2025 is 0, and whereas prior to adopting this resolution, the Board of Education of the Madison Metropolitan School District gave written notice to the electors residing in and the owners of the territory proposed to be detached from the Verona Area School District and attached to the Madison Metropolitan School District of the proposed reorganization, and provided them an opportunity to speak with the Board of Education and present reasons for or against the proposed reorganization. And whereas the Board of Education has considered all of the factors set forth under Wisconsin State Statutes 117.15, as such factors would have affected the educational welfare if there were pupils, and now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Madison Metropolitan School District that pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 117.13, the listed parcels be and are hereby ordered detached from the Verona Area School District and attached to the Madison Metropolitan School District, and be it further resolved by the Board of Education of the Madison Metropolitan School District that the clerk of the district shall, within 5 days after adoption of this resolution, send a certified copy of this resolution to the Board of Education of the Verona Area School District and file a certified copy of this resolution with the School District Boundary Appeal Board.
I second Maya.
Broke out in a sweat on that one. All right, any discussion on that? Yes, Board Member Waldrop.
I just want to clarify, this is consistent with the agreement we had long term with the Verona. Thank you. I'm gonna vote in favor of it.
All right. Megan, your advisory vote. All those in favor? Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to 14.3 on our agenda. I move that the Board of Education, pursuant to the terms of the Administrator's Retirement Plan, which seeks to recognize the value of a long-term commitment to the MMSD, approve 2 applications.
Second Maya.
Any comments or questions? Megan, your advisory vote? All those in favor? Aye. All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item, 14.4, annual capacity for open enrollment determination. I move that in regards to open enrollment applications for the 2025-2026 school year, the district declares that no space is available in the LEAP, NEON, SBA, Primary Steps/Next Steps, Transition Academy, Sail West, Campus Connect, Lake Edge Program, Memorial Neutral Site Program, High School Intensive Intervention, Early Learning Sessions, Early Childhood Internet Services, Madison Promise, and Early College STEM Academy programs, and open enrollment applicants will not be accepted into those programs. All other special education and regular education programs, services, and grade levels will have no space limitation.
Second Maya.
All right, discussion. Board Member Vanden Meulen.
I say this every year. I still believe that putting caps on LEAP and NEON, and that constitutes a cap in special ed. I read it that way. Some people do not read it that way. That is why I am voting no on this.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, Megan, your advisory vote. All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposed. 1. All right, that passes 6-1. All right, notice of claim. I move that the Board of Education authorize the submission of a claim in case number 05-MD-1720 in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York.
Second Maya.
All right, any questions or comments? All right, Megan, your advisory vote? All those in favor? Aye? All right, Claire, was your hand up? Okay, that passes unanimously. I move that the board, or our next one is superintendent contract. I move that the Board of Education approve to extend Superintendent Joe Gothard's contract by 1 year to June 30th, 2027, effective July 1, 2025.
Second, Maya.
Any questions or comments? Board Member Mo-
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to extend our superintendent's contract. I really appreciate your leadership and the work you've done with us thus far. And I look forward to the work we'll do together in the future.
Board Member Vander.
Well deserved, and I'm strongly in favor.
All right, I also feel like it's a really strong move, I think, for the board to make this early on in your leadership journey with us, and we're very, very appreciative of you being here. And so glad that we have this opportunity to affirm this motion. All right, Megan, your advisory vote. All those in favor? All right, aye, and that is unanimous. All right, I see no other old or new business. Board Member Vandermeulen is moving that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Maya Pearson, second.
Thank you all. Megan, your advisory vote. All right, all those in favor of adjournment? Great, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Good night.
Night, team.